It is January 2026, and if history repeats itself, I know exactly what is happening in your house right now. You have cleared out your pantry, you have thrown away the bread, you have signed up for a gym membership that makes your knees scream in pain. You are hungry, you are irritable, and you are telling yourself, this year, I will finally win the war against my body. I have some bad news for you. Statistics tell us that by February 15th, less than 6 weeks from now, 95% of you will have quit. You will gain the weight back, plus a little more. Not because you are weak, not because you lack discipline, but because the entire Western philosophy of health is fundamentally broken. We treat aging like a crime, and we treat food like an enemy. My guest today believes we are doing it all wrong. This is Dr. Kenji Sato. He is a preventative cardiologist from Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's blue zones. Dr. Kenji, welcome. Before we talk science, I have to ask you to settle a bet I have with my producers. How old are you?
Thank you, Anya-san. I celebrated my 72nd birthday last week.
72? You have the blood pressure of a 30-year-old. You have zero joint pain. And the part that frustrates my viewers, you eat white rice, you eat noodles, and you told me backstage that you never work out in a gym. So the question is simple. Why do we in the West work so hard and get sicker while your people seem to live to 100 on autopilot?
It is a fascinating question. You used the word war earlier. You said Americans are at war with their bodies. In Japan, we do not view health as a battle. We view it as a gardening practice. If you want a plant to grow, do you scream at it? Do you deprive it of water for days to make it tough? No, you tend to it gently every day. The Western approach is violent. You try to change 100% of your life on January 1st. Your brain hates this. Your biology perceives this sudden starvation and heavy exercise as a threat to survival, so it fights back with cortisol and hunger.
That explains the rebound weight gain. The body is protecting itself from the famine we created.
Precisely. In Okinawa, we use a different philosophy. We call it Kaizen.
Kaizen. That's actually a business term, isn't it? Toyota uses it for manufacturing.
It is used everywhere. It translates to continuous microscopic improvement. The idea is, do not try to be 100% better tomorrow. Try to be 1% better. A change so small that your brain doesn't even notice it. A change so easy that it is impossible to fail. If you improve by 1% every day, by the end of 2026, you are not the same person. You have replaced your entire lifestyle without ever feeling the pain of a diet.
I love that phrase, a change so small your brain doesn't notice. Because right now, my audience is exhausted. They're scared of failing again. So, Dr. Kenji, you brought with you today 5 specific microhabits. These are not theories. These are things you do every single day. And the first one, honestly, when I read your notes, I thought it was too simple to work. It's not about what you eat, but how you stop.
Ah, yes. Hara 80-80. It is the golden rule. In the West, you stop eating when you are full. In Japan, we stop when we are no longer hungry. There is a massive biological difference.
Let's break that down, because I think we've been destroying our metabolism at the dinner table without realizing it. Okay, Hara Hachi Bu. I've heard this phrase in Blue Zone documentaries. It translates roughly to eat until you are 8 parts full, or 80%. But Dr. Kenji, I have to be the voice of my audience here. In the West, we are taught to clean our plates. If I stop at 80%, won't I be hungry? Won't I be raiding the pantry an hour later?
That is the great illusion, Anya-san. You think you are hungry at 80%, but that is only because your brain hasn't opened the mail yet.
Open the mail? Explain that.
Physiologically, there is a disconnect between your stomach and your brain. When you eat, your stomach stretches. It sends a hormonal signal, leptin, to your brain to say, "Stop, we have enough fuel." But here is the biological flaw. That signal takes about 20 minutes to arrive. Think of it like filling your car with gas, but the gauge on the dashboard is on a 20-minute delay. If you keep pumping gas until the needle hits full, you have actually overflowed the tank gallons ago. In the West, you eat until you feel stuffed. That is not 100%, that is 120%. That extra 20% is what becomes visceral fat. In Okinawa, we stop when we no longer feel a sharp hunger. We stop when the tank is almost full. And miraculously, 20 minutes later, the leptin arrives and we feel perfectly satisfied.
So the hunger vanishes if you just wait for the signal.
Exactly. But to do this, you need a tactic. You cannot just use willpower. You need to change your environment.
This brings us to the visual trick you mentioned, the optical illusion of the plate.
Yes, in Japan, we eat off many small plates. In America, your dinner plates look like serving platters. There is a phenomenon called the Delboeuf illusion. If you put a scoop of rice on a massive plate, your brain sees scarcity. It thinks you are starving. If you put that same scoop on a small bowl, your brain sees abundance. It thinks you are feasting. So, here is your first micro habit for 2026. Do not use your dinner plates. Use your salad plates for your main meal. And secondly, put the fork down.
Put it down? Like between bites?
Yes. Watch a Japanese person eat. We take a bite of rice, we put the chopsticks down, we chew, we talk, then we pick them up again. This slows the velocity of eating. It gives the leptin signal time to travel. If you hold your fork like a shovel, you will shovel food until you hurt. If you put it down, you give your body a chance to say enough.
It sounds so simple, but it changes the entire hormonal cascade. Now, speaking of rice, this leads us to the biggest controversy. My viewers are terrified of carbohydrates, yet you eat rice every day and you are lean. You told me it's not that you eat carbs, but when you eat them. This is the golden sequence. Dr. Kenji, we have to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the bowl of rice in the room. You eat white rice every day. In the West, if a patient has diabetes or belly fat, the first thing we do is ban rice, pasta, and bread. We say carbs are the enemy. Yet Japan has the lowest obesity rate in the developed world, and you are eating high-carb diets. Is it genetics, or are we missing something?
It is not genetics, Anya-san. When Japanese people move to America and eat like Americans, they get diabetes just as fast. The difference is not what we eat, it is the sequence in which we eat it.
The sequence? You mean the order of the food on the plate?
Precisely. In a traditional Japanese meal, what we call kaiseki style, we never ever start with the rice. If you go to a restaurant in America, what is the first thing they put on the table?
A basket of bread or chips.
Exactly. They give you naked carbs on an empty stomach. When you eat starch on an empty stomach, it shoots straight into your small intestine, turns into glucose, and explodes into your bloodstream. Your insulin spikes, and your body goes into fat storage mode instantly. It is like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Okay, so that's the Western way. What is the Japanese microhabit?
We utilize the golden sequence. Step 1, we eat the fiber first, the pickles, the seaweed, the vegetables, the miso soup. Step 2, we eat the protein and fats, the fish, the tofu, the egg. Step 3, we eat the rice, carbohydrates, last.
This is fascinating. So you're eating the exact same meal, but just by changing the order, you change the chemistry?
Yes, think of the fiber, the vegetables, as a safety net. When you eat the veggies first, the fiber coats the lining of your small intestine. It creates a physical viscous mesh. When the rice finally arrives 10 minutes later, it gets trapped in that mesh. It absorbs slowly. Studies show that eating vegetables before carbs can reduce the post-meal glucose spike by up to 40%. It is as powerful as some diabetes medications.
That is incredible. It's a free intervention. It costs nothing.
It is free. So here is the micro habit for 2026. Do not ban the bread, just banish it to the end of the meal. Eat your salad first, eat your steak, then have the potato. You will find that not only is your blood sugar better, but you are often too full to eat the whole potato anyway. Hara Hachi Bu.
I love that. Earn your carbs. Now, moving on, we've talked about food. Let's talk about movement. But this next habit isn't exercise. It sounds more like a spa treatment. You claim that taking a bath is as good for my heart as going for a run?
Ah, the OFURO. It is my favorite part of the day. And yes, biologically, it is very similar to exercise.
Okay, Dr. Kenji, you had me at eat the bread last, but this next one sounds too good to be true. You are telling me that sitting in a bathtub, doing absolutely nothing, is physically similar to going for a jog? Because my viewers have knee pain. They hate the treadmill. If you tell them they can trade the gym for a spa night, you will be their new favorite doctor.
Then I shall be their favorite. In the West, you view a bath as hygiene. You stand in a shower for 5 minutes to wash off the dirt. In Japan, the OFURO, bath, is not for washing. We scrub our bodies outside the tub. The tub is exclusively for soaking. It is for therapy.
So it's not about cleanliness, it's about heat.
Precisely. We soak for 10 to 15 minutes in water that is quite hot, about 40 to 42 degrees Celsius, or 104 to 107 degrees Fahrenheit. When you submerge your body in this heat, something profound happens to your biology. We call it passive cardio.
Passive cardio. So your heart rate goes up.
Yes, the heat causes your blood vessels to dilate, vasodilation. Your heart has to pump faster to move the blood to the skin to cool you down. Studies show that a hot bath can burn as many calories as a 30-minute walk. It improves insulin sensitivity and lowers blood sugar.
That's impressive. But there is another mechanism you mentioned in your book, heat shock proteins.
Ah, yes, the HSPs. These are your cellular repair crew. As we age, our proteins get folded wrong, they get damaged. When you expose your body to thermal stress, heat, your body releases heat shock proteins. They go around fixing damaged cells, reducing inflammation, and boosting immunity. It's like a factory reset for your cells every single night.
So by taking a hot bath, you're essentially cooking the inflammation out of your body.
In a way, yes. And there's a secondary benefit. Sleep. Dr. Anya, many of your viewers struggle with insomnia, correct?
It's epidemic. They wake up at 3 a.m.
The OFURO fixes this. If you take a hot bath 90 minutes before bed, you raise your core body temperature. When you get out, your body rapidly cools down. That steep drop in temperature is the biological signal to your brain to release melatonin. It knocks you out.
So here's the micro habit for 2026. Stop showering in the morning, switch to a hot bath at night. If you don't have a tub, a very hot foot bath works too, right?
A foot bath is excellent, as long as you feel the heat. Now we have relaxed, but we cannot stay in the tub forever. We must move. And this brings us to why Japanese seniors don't need walkers or canes. It's because of where they live, or rather, what level they live on.
The floor, the ninja movement habit. We've covered food and we've covered the bath. Now let's talk about strength. Dr. Kenji, when you walked onto the set today, I noticed something. You didn't just sit in the chair. You lowered yourself with total control. No groaning, no using the armrests for support. In the West, getting out of a chair becomes a struggle after 60. We rely on walkers. We fear falling. Yet in Okinawa, grandmothers are gardening on their hands and knees. What is the secret?
The secret is that we do not have furniture.
Excuse me?
I am exaggerating, of course, but traditionally, Japanese life happens on the tatami, the floor. We eat on low tables, we sleep on futons on the floor, we socialize sitting on the floor. Think about the mechanics of that, Anya-san. To eat dinner, I have to lower my body all the way down to the ground. To answer the door, I have to lift my entire body weight up from a dead stop.
That's a squat. You are doing a full, deep squat.
Exactly. An average Japanese senior gets up and down from the floor 20 to 30 times a day. That is 30 squats daily. That is over 10,000 squats a year. They are not going to the gym, they are just living. In the West, you live your life at chair level. You go from the bed to the car seat to the office chair to the sofa. Your hip muscles never travel through their full range of motion. They atrophy. The chair is a cast.
This reminds me of a famous study, the sitting-rising test.
Yes, it was developed by Dr. Claudio Gil Araujo in Brazil. The test is simple. Can you sit on the floor and stand back up without using your hands or knees for support? The study found that people who needed to use their hands or knees were 5 to 6 times more likely to die in the next 6 years compared to those who could do it hands-free.
That is a terrifying statistic. It shows that leg strength isn't just about vanity, it's about survival.
It is, but Anya-san, I see your face. You are worried about your viewers.
I am, because honestly, Dr. Kenji, if I ask my 70-year-old viewer with bad knees to sit on the floor today, they might not get back up. They might get stuck.
And we must respect that. Kaizen means small steps. We do not jump to the floor on day one. If you cannot do the floor life, you must do radio taiso.
Radio Taiso. That sounds like a broadcast.
It is. Since 1928, every morning at 6:30 a.m., the Japanese radio broadcasts a piano melody and a set of gentle calisthenics instructions. Construction workers, CEOs, school children, and seniors, everyone stops and does 3 minutes of rhythmic stretching together. It acts as a WD-40 for the joints. It lubricates the body before the day starts. So, here is your micro habit for 2026. Choose your level. Level 1, the challenge. Watch 1 TV show per night sitting on the floor, on a cushion. Just being there forces you to stretch your hips, and getting up once is your workout. Level 2, the adaptation. If the floor is impossible, commit to 3 minutes of morning flow while the coffee brews. Swing your arms, march in place, oil the joints.
I love level 1. Just sit on the floor for the news. It forces mobility without exercise. Now, we have covered the body, but the final habit is perhaps the most important one. Because in the West, retirement is often the beginning of the end. In Japan, you don't really retire, do you? You have ikigai. We have fixed the diet, the movement, and the recovery. But Dr. Kenji, there is a statistic that haunts me as a doctor. In the West, the 2 most dangerous years of a person's life are the year they are born and the year they retire. We see men, specifically, who work hard for 40 years, retire at 65, sit on the golf course, and are dead by 68. Heart attacks, strokes, or just fading away. It seems that when the job stops, the body stops.
It is tragic, but it is not a mystery. In the West, you view retirement as the end. You view it as a permanent vacation, doing nothing. In Okinawa, we do not have a word for retirement. It simply does not exist in our dialect. Instead, we have ikigai.
Ikigai. I see this word on t-shirts now, but what does it actually mean medically?
Literally, it translates to the reason for which you wake up in the morning. Medically, think of it as psychological immunity. When you have a task, a purpose, or a person who needs you, your brain sends a signal to your cells, do not die yet, we are needed. If you have no purpose, if your only goal is to watch TV, your brain perceives uselessness. It raises cortisol, it increases inflammation, it accelerates cell death. The body is efficient, Anya-san. If it has no job, it shuts down the factory.
That makes sense biologically, but this scares people. My viewers are 65, 70. They don't want to start a business. They don't want to change the world. They are tired. Does ikigai have to be something huge?
No, that is the Western mistake. You think purpose must be success. In Japan, ikigai is microscopic. For my neighbor in Okinawa, her ikigai is her garden. She wakes up because the orchids need water. If she dies, the orchids die. That is enough. For another, it is cooking soup for his grandson on Sundays. It is not about ambition, it is about connection.
So it's about obligation, small, beautiful obligations.
Yes, a small responsibility anchors you to life.
So let's turn this into the final micro habit for 2026. If someone is watching this and feeling lost, maybe they just retired, maybe they are lonely, how do they find their ikigai?
Do not look for a career, look for a role. Ask yourself one question tonight. Who or what would miss me if I stayed in bed all day tomorrow? If the answer is nobody, then you must create a connection. Get a dog. The dog needs you. Volunteer at the library. The books need you. Teach your granddaughter how to knit. She needs you. Find one thing that depends on you. That is the secret to living to 100.
Find one thing that depends on you. That is beautiful, Dr. Kenji. We have covered so much today. Hara Hachi Bu, stop at 80%. Golden sequence, veggies first, carbs last. OFURO, the hot bath for passive cardio. Floor life, keep the legs strong. Ikigai, find your reason. You do not have to do all of these tomorrow. Remember, Kaizen. Just pick one. Maybe just eat your salad first. Maybe just take a bath tonight. 1% better. That is how you win 2026.
Do not fight your body this year. Make peace with it. Lead it gently.
Dr. Kenji, thank you for sharing your wisdom. If you want to start this journey, I want you to claim it. In the comments below, tell me which one habit you are going to start this week. Just one. Type, I choose Kaizen. And if you want to understand why your energy has been so low and how to fix the engine of your cells, you need to watch this video next on mitochondria. It explains the energy crisis of aging. I'm Dr. Anya. Arigato gozaimasu. I will see you in the next video.